in. Namaste, welcome. Our practice is focused on the legs, our fabulous legs. I do have a little extra setup going today. I put a blanket, I have my fuzzy rug for underneath. I also have a blanket available, and you might want to have either a couple blocks close by, or for our Shavasana, we will be doing legs up the wall, which can also be done as legs up the chair. So I have a chair in for options for props as well. All right. And we begin with the breath and with gratitude. So go ahead and stretch all the way out on your back in the pose called Shavasana. In this posture, you will be fully reclined, so you might take a moment to situate your body. Could be good to still have your socks on. Good. All right. And as you settle in, let your whole body extend out long. As you extend out through your legs, take a moment to see if it would feel good to have your legs bent or straight. You can choose either option. And let's have our hands resting onto our bellies. So with your hands resting onto your belly, let your elbows be resting onto the floor. I'm beginning here to tune into your breath. Find a full breath in. And a nice big relaxing, releasing exhale, releasing your breath all the way out. And let's again find another full breath in. And a big exhale, releasing, letting go, exhale. And as your body comes into stillness here, right, first find some gratitude for the surface that you're resting upon. Maybe you find yourself on a bit of a puffy blanket or a cozy layer of carpeting between your body, your yoga mat, and the floor. And gratitude for the space that you're in, hopefully feeling nice and cozy. And we're shifting our attention and our awareness from the experience of our day, from taking in experiences and sights and sounds from the outer landscape. So in your Shavasana, your reclined pose, hands resting on your belly, full awareness of your breath. That feeling of gratitude. Perhaps even relaxing your legs a little bit more. And I'd invite you to explore finding an inner smile. A couple more moments here, fully focused on your breath. and your whole body relaxing. Good. Begin to first awaken just tiny movements in your fingers and your toes. You might let your hands relax from your belly down to the sides, just a little wiggle of each finger and each toe. Then you might start to stretch a bit more, inviting your arms to lengthen along the floor, up overhead. A little twirl of your wrists and your ankles. And slowly, eventually, gradually begin to bend your knees, bringing your feet to the floor. And then a little awareness here through your core as you gather your knees the rest of the way in towards your chest. Now, as you hug your legs in, you could start with a little side to side rocking. Intending for this movement to help to relax and release your back. You could target more specifically the space of your low back if you would like, letting your hands rest on your knees and moving your knees around in circles. Full breath in, full breath out. Good. And you can change the direction of these circles as well. Remember to move at a pace that is right for you in this moment, honoring that that pace might change. There's not a right way. You are going to always be invited to make the practice your own. Good. Back at center, let your legs come in for a hug, give your legs a squeeze. It might be available for you to lift your head and shoulders gently, exhale, rounding in. And inhale, let your head and your shoulders rest back down. Very nice. Bring your feet back down to the floor. Let your arms rest out to the sides, maybe just out from your hips, perhaps all the way out at shoulder height in the shape of a T. Or maybe you find your hands interlaced under your head. That could feel really good in your chest and shoulders. If that's not the case, then choose another variation. Feet a little wider apart. Inhale deeply. Exhale, take both of your bent knees over to the left. On your inhale, bring your knees back up through center. And then exhale, take your legs over to the right. Good. You've got the pattern. Continuing here, lifting your knees up, taking them to the other side. Good. Again, finding a pace, a rhythm that works for you. Really finding how we might tune in a little bit more to the messages from our body. Finding that moment of pause, to feel, to become aware. Good. One or two more times from side to side. Optional to let your head turn slowly away from your knees. See what that adds for you. Good. Come back to center when you feel balanced side to side. As you step your feet a little closer in, relax your arms down and bring just your right knee into your chest.
You could interlace your hands in front of your shin or behind your thigh. See what works better for your body. Give that leg a squeeze, hug in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then inhale, soften your hug. Good. Feel that open space across your heart, your chest, your shoulders, and then hug it in again. Exhale, hug, 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 squeeze into your hip. Very nice. Inhale, find some room, soften the hug. Heart is open, lifted. And again, hug in, give it a squeeze, squeezing in. Nice. Inhale, bring your foot back down to the mat. Second side, left knee in. Interlace your hands. Again, maybe the bend of your knee would prefer that you hold on behind the thigh. Again, make it your own. Hug in. You're going to squeeze that knee into your chest. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Excellent. And then soften the hug. Make some room between your belly and your thigh. And then hug it in again. Exhale, hug it in, squeeze, empty, empty. Exhale, 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 exhale. Good job. Inhale, soften the leg away from your belly. Heart is lifted. Exhale, hug it in again. Give it a squeeze. Nice. Inhale, bring your left foot back down to the mat. Please stretch both legs out long. Reach your arms all the way up overhead, big full body stretch. Reach from your belly. So nice big stretch across your belly. Maybe your rib cage even lifts up a little bit, spreading the low ribs here. Big stretch. Inhale and exhale. Slowly bring your right knee in. You'll bring your right knee in, bring your arms to hug your right leg into your body. Good. We'll keep that right knee in. Here, flex both of your feet. So let that left leg even be a little bit engaged. Your heel is pressing into the mat, feet are flexed. You could even give a little engagement to the top of your left thigh, squeezing your quadricep, lifting your kneecap. Now, while you're here for a couple more breaths, see if you might relax your shoulders a little. Sometimes we are holding on more than we might realize. So your heart is lifted, shoulders are as relaxed as possible. Let's take another 2 breaths here. Very good. And release. Release your right foot down. Stretch that leg out long. Full body stretch again here. Your arms up overhead. Reach from your fingers to your toes. Give everything a little wiggle. And then when you're ready, your left leg will come into your chest. Bring your left knee in. Take a hold of that leg. Give it a squeeze. Hugging in. Nice. Now scan through your whole body. Flex both feet. Let your right leg be active. So your quadricep is engaged. Kneecap might feel a little lifted. Let your right heel stay pressing into the mat. And while you're hugging in, notice if the head of your arm bones might drop back a little bit more. So you're hugging in, your biceps are working. Your heart is lifted and open. You're fully engaged, awareness from your head to your toe, what all parts of you are doing. Smooth, even breaths here. Let your tongue relax away from your teeth, relax away from the roof of your mouth. Good. And release. Release your left leg, stretch your arms up overhead, big full body stretch again here. Reach, 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 lengthen. Very nice. Bend your knees, bring both knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your legs, give yourself a squeeze. Thank you, self. Feels good to feel good. A little rocking side to side if that works in your body, if it helps to release your back. Maybe you prefer the knee circles, but choosing what lets your body know you're listening. Hey, I know it got a little busy today, but I'm paying attention. You've got my attention. Excellent. Circling your knees. You might circle them apart, big wide circles apart, and back in together. You might feel the difference in this as it may be targeting more your inner thigh, or there could be more awareness of your hips, your hip sockets. Good. Full breath in, full breath out. All right. So for this next one, we're going to have the knees wider apart, reaching to hold on to your ankles. Maybe we can grab our feet. So if you do have a hold of your feet, use your thumbs and your arches to give your feet a little massage. Now, if you prefer, you can do this one at a time. You might give them inner arch of one foot and then the other, or simultaneously. If either way, give a little massage to your feet, a little massage to your ankles. Let that massage move to your calves, your knees, and then a little rub on the hamstrings, the back of your legs. So we'll give them a little attention today. You might even do just a little patting, pat, pat, pat the back of your legs, little blood flow, in case we were in front of the computer for too long today. Good. And then bring your legs in, give yourself a squeeze, lifting your head, rounding in, and then rest your head and shoulders back down, feet to the mat, hands onto your low belly for a moment. I would invite you to pause, breathe, and feel. So right here, right now, eyes might be closed. So you have your full attention on the sensations in your body. Full breath in, full breath out. All right. When you are ready, we will transition to seated. Now, last week when I did the spinal rock, I had quite a nice adjustment through the spine and big crack of the back. If that's a fun option for you, you might take a hold of the back of your thighs, rock and roll forward and back, or you could roll to one side and transition to seated. If you're choosing the rock and roll, let it be fun, a little playful, definitely mindful. All right. Circling all the way up. Take a moment at seated, sitting up nice and tall. You might be sitting on the edge of your blanket if you prefer. Let's squeeze our shoulders up towards our ears. Inhale and drop them down. Exhale. Awesome. 2 more times. Squeeze and drop them down. Good. 1 more time. Squeeze them up and drop them down. All right. Little circles with the tip of your nose, making them any size circle that works for your neck. Oh, and I could slow it way down. I got 2 messages today about slowing down. One was in my meditation app, and one was, yes, on TikTok. Oh my. So it is to be human. All right. Taking your legs out in front. This posture is called Dandasana staff pose. So here you may choose to sit up on the edge of a folded blanket. We'll be here for just a moment to really engage through our legs and our erector muscles. So the muscles along your spine, through your core working front and back to fully support your spine. Now, your arms, depending on the length of your arm bones, your hands might rest on the floor. You could have little tented fingers, if that works better for the length of your arm bones. If your arm bones are very, very long, maybe a little bend. All right, however it is, focus here on your legs. Extend out through your legs, engage your quadriceps. You may even find in this posture for a moment, your heels lift. If you're squeezing through your legs, pressing out through your heels, squeezing your quadriceps so much your kneecaps might be lifted. A couple more full breaths here, work through your core, really bring it, bring it, bring it. And release. All right, good job. Relaxing for a moment. You might just shake out through your legs, through your feet. And we'll bend our right knee in. Bend your right knee into your chest, sitting up nice and tall. You can engage still through your left leg if you would like, letting your left quadriceps still engage, waking it up, getting it ready for all those spring hikes. Full inhale and exhale. Bring your right hand to the mat behind you. Depending on the distance, again, of your own measurements. Maybe your arms are longer or shorter. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, exhale, twist to your right. You might be holding on to your right thigh here. As you're twisting to your right, you're going to turn towards your bent leg, so whichever one you did first, and maybe turning to look over your shoulder. Good. Inhale, come back around to center. And lifting up through your right leg, you're going to perhaps hold onto your foot and your knee and give that leg a little rock. You're holding your shin, basically, rocking a little bit here, moving into the space of your right hip. Next week's class focus is hips, by the way. So getting our legs all ready so that when our hips get all open and balanced, strong and flexible, our legs can hold us. Good. All right. So for some of you, you might be familiar with this one, and you may opt to put your foot into the left bend of your elbow so that you're holding the shin a little higher up. If that's not an option in your body, or if it causes any rounding or shoulder pain, then just allowing the grip to be here. Wherever you're at, check in with your whole experience. Did your jaw get activated? Is anything clenching? Could you find any adjustments that would bring greater ease and presence to your present moment? Good. And let's release. Extend your right leg out long. Sit in Dandasana again for just a moment. Staff pose. Quads engaged. Heels might lift. There's many schools of thought. Some schools have you keep your heels pressing. Might play with it. My quads could use a little engaging. So see what's right for you. Be mindful of your beautiful knees. And when you're ready, relax. Bend that left leg in. You're going to squeeze, and here you can adjust your posture. So you can notice if lifting up out of your low back is an option. Sitting up nice and tall here. As you're lifting, notice if your shoulders lifted with you. Sometimes they like to come along. Let them come along, just relaxed down away from your ears. Inhale and exhale, left hand to the earth behind you. Sit up nice and tall. And then when you're ready, twisting to your left, you might wrap your arm around that leg if that helps support you. Breathe in here. Aware of your whole experience. Even your ears are relaxed, your eyes, your nose, your tongue. In the midst of your right leg being engaged, it too is relaxed. Relaxed in a very present, awake, aware manner. Good. Let's inhale, come back to center. And exhale. We will rock our left leg now. So if you're holding on to the ankle or shin, you might move a little side to side, a little forward and back, maybe leaning forward. Good thing we did low back. Another option might be keeping your foot very flexed, as we did in our Dandasana. And that way, when you're holding onto your ankle, it stays at a right angle. Little side to side rocking. Again, some of you might be leaning a little forward, a little back. And the variation again of hooking your foot into the right elbow crease and then cradling that shin, maybe that side to side rocking, or breathing in stillness. Again, depending on our own disposition and temperament, as well as the activities of our day, even the food that we've eaten, sometimes we need more movement and sometimes we need more stillness. So tuning in, gauging the messages that your body is telling you. And when you are ready, gently release. Extend your leg all the way out long. Let's sit in Dandasana again for just a moment. Both legs engaged. Top of your legs are squeezing. Kneecaps may feel like they're lifting here. That would be lifting horizontally instead of towards the sky. Couple full breaths, Dandasana staff pose. Really aligning your spine, strong through your legs, attention to detail. We don't have to sit like this all the time. We're just waking up the body right here, right now. Good. Now for our next pose, Paschimottanasana or seated forward fold, some of you may keep your legs out straight. For some of us, it might feel better first to bend the knees a little bit and then leaning forward over your legs, finding your forward fold here. Again, for some of you, if it's in your practice, legs might stay out long and extending into your forward fold from here. Whatever variation you are choosing for yourself here, let's take 5 more full rounds of breath. Remember, make the practice your own. Tune in to what is the right medicine for you. When you are ready, inhale, returning to an upright seated position, and exhale. We are coming onto hands and knees in our tabletop position. Again, today I have my fancy little fur rug, but I also recommend putting a blanket under your knees. It makes for a nice little cushioning, a little add-on. So once you arrive in your tabletop position, if you would like to find some movements here, you could flow through a couple of rounds of your cat and cow, lifting your sitting bones, bringing your heart forward, lifting your chin, inhale. And then cat pose, exhale, arching your back towards the sky, releasing your head down. A couple more times with your cat and cow. A little side to side movement, just waking up through the spine. Excellent. When you're ready from table, take your right leg back behind you with your toes on the ground. With your toes tucked under, we're going to work that back ankle and your toes, and even waking up your calf. So just pressing back through your heel and then pressing forward. For some of you, it might be available to even explore coming to the top of your toes. Oh my goodness, it's not as hard as in flip-flop season, but yep, there's a bit of a stretch. And then pressing back. You could roll all the way up over the top of your toes, pressing back, or keeping the toes tucked under and getting a little more attention to your calf muscle. Very nice. When you're ready, lift your toes up off of the mat. So your leg will be parallel to the floor. Your core engages here. And as you're pressing back, keep your foot flexed so your toes are pointing down towards the ground. Pressing back, really nice length here. And then slowly you're going to step that foot all the way up between your hands. Up here into your lunge. Now, in the lunge, you might decide if you would like to move your left knee back a little bit. We'll take a moment here. Your hands could be flat, or this is where you might use your yoga blocks. Putting your hands up onto yoga blocks might give you a little bit more room to breathe between the space of your belly and your thigh. If you are exploring moving your hips a little farther forward to get the stretch more targeted in the front of your left hip, your left thigh, staying mindful here of your whole body experience. Checking in with your jaw, your tongue, your teeth, even your knee. Make sure your left knee feels okay. Good. Now, we could have that back foot with our toes tucked under, or you could leave your foot flat onto the mat. We will slowly bring our hands up onto our right knee, pressing out of the lunge a little bit here. So as you slowly come all the way up, really pressing down through your left knee, lifting up through your heart, through your chest. Let your shoulders stay relaxed and down. Now finding your balance here, finding your breath. Perhaps bringing your hands together in front of your heart. With your hands together in front of your heart, we'll explore a variation here of bringing our prayer hands to the outside of our right knee. Now, keeping your balance here, you might remain with both hands outside of your right knee. Or if it feels better for you, you could explore bringing your right hand perhaps onto your low back. As you're breathing here in your twist, optional to turn your head to the right. Good. Slowly turning all the way back and returning from your twist. We'll bring our hands all the way down. Engage through your core, mindfully straighten your right leg. So here again, friends, is where the option of having your hands onto a block might apply. So if the ground is rather far away here, resist taking your left hip behind your knee. You don't want to go way back. You want to keep your hip over your left knee. So that could involve scooting your right foot a little farther forward. Flex your right foot. Hands on either side of your leg or maybe up by your knee. This is where your hands up onto your yoga blocks is helpful. Maybe for some of you, there's a little forward fold out over your right leg. All those sunshine walks we took in northern Michigan last weekend, our legs are saying, oh yeah. All right, beautiful. Nice job, everyone. Slowly coming up out of the forward fold. If you went in, start to bend into that front knee again, walking your hands now to the inside of your right foot. With your hands on the inside of your right foot, maybe you move that left knee a little farther back. This is a variation of a lizard pose. For some of you, it might feel interesting to lift that left knee so you're in a lunge. And if that adds to your leg and your hip stretch, you might stay there. You could keep that left knee lowered down. Another variation of this posture might be to lower down to your elbows, bringing your forearms down to the ground. Wherever you are, stay mindful of your whole body. We'll take 3 more full rounds of breath. Good job, everyone. Take your time to slowly come back up, bringing your hands around that front foot again, shifting back and coming all the way back to table. Now, after that, maybe a couple rounds of cat and cow. If you would prefer to integrate or digest those poses in downward dog, you could explore that as well. Everything that we take in, from looking at the full moon to eating a raspberry, has to be digested. So even our yoga poses need to be digested. If you would like to digest in child's pose, you might shift your hips back for a few moments. Full, even breaths in child's pose. We'll set up for our second side. Take your time, arriving on all fours in your table. Your left leg will go back this time, toes tucked under on the mat, and starting to move a little forward and back, waking up your left toes, your ankle, your left calf muscle. Again, maybe it's interesting to roll over the top of your toes. Maybe not. Again, make the practice your own. And when you are ready, we'll come back to center and lift left toes up off of the mat. Again, keeping your foot flexed, toes towards the ground. Engage through your core so your low back knows you're paying attention and you're supporting it. That inner thigh feels like it's rolling up towards the sky. Press out through your heels, strong core, full inhale. And exhale, slowly bring that knee through and step it up between your hands. Good. Now, left knee might, or rather right knee might need to move back a bit here. You could also adjust your winter storage around that front leg. Taking a pause here, back foot might be flat, hips melting towards the earth. A couple of full breaths here. From here, we will bring our hands up onto our left knee. So making sure your right knee feels comfortable. As you bring your hands up onto your left knee, you might come a little bit out of your lunge, finding your balance up tall here. Heart is lifted, shoulders are relaxed. Tailbone can drop a bit here if you're exploring moving your hips forward at all. Feeling that little extra attention on your right hip flexor, the front of your right thigh. Shoulders are relaxed, heart is lifted, your breath is steady, smooth, and even. Either staying here or perhaps bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Find your balance. Feel that calm presence at your center. And then optional to bring your prayer hands over to the outside of your left leg. Initiating that twist, as you twist a little bit to your left, you could keep both hands here, or maybe bring your left hand to your low back, supporting yourself in the twist. Again, there's not a right way. You'll just feel into the way that helps you to be long, slow, deep breaths, awareness, the miracle of the moment. Good. Yes, very nice. Slowly bring it back around the center. Inhale. Exhale, we'll bring our hands down. This time we'll bring our hands to the inside of the left foot. So you might scoot your foot a little over to the side, moving towards lizard pose. Again, for some of you, hands might be up onto yoga blocks. You could stay here in the stretch or lift your right knee, letting that right leg be straight. Maybe playing with that variation, see what it adds for you. Right knee could be up or down. If you're exploring, elbows to the blocks or down to the floor. Whichever variation you find yourself in. Let's take 3 more full rounds of breath. Slowly, we'll bring our hands back. Coming up for our half split, walk your hands back to either side of that front leg as you straighten your left leg. Again, mindful, keeping your hips over your right knee this time. You might scoot your left foot a little farther forward if that gives you that alignment, and then lifting up through your left toes, flex your left foot. Hands could be on your blocks here. So this is where your yoga blocks come in handy, arm extenders. Squaring off through your hips, lengthening through your spine. Some of you might explore folding forward over your left leg. Inhale, if you've come up out of the forward fold, if you went in. Slowly transitioning, bend into your front knee again. You could scoot your left leg back around, coming back. Very nice, everyone. We're making our way to standing from here. You might stretch your legs in a downward facing dog. A little pedal of your heels, lifting and lowering your heels. Stretching through your central column. So really anchor your hands. If you're taking the variation of down dog, where you're in a half down dog, and then that is where you are already standing. Hands might be on a table or a counter. Good. Either walk to your standing forward fold or lower back to table. You can step a foot forward, pressing yourself up to standing. If you have come through downward dog to your standing forward fold, take your time, slow and steady. Walking hands and feet in towards each other, you might bend a moment or two upside down before gradually rolling up, slow and steady. Full breath in, a full breath out. Once you're standing, take a moment, inhaling, reach your arms all the way up high to the sky. And exhaling, release your arms all the way back down by your sides. Beautiful. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale, sweep your arms all the way back down. Maybe remember the songbirds from this weekend when they all just went gangbusters over the sunshine. Inhale. Oh, celebrate those darling birds. Exhale, sweep your arms all the way back down. Go ahead, roll your shoulders. Full breath in and a full breath out. All right. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Aligning your feet here. In some practices, they explore having feet all the way together. If we're newer to the pose, or if we're feeling like our balance is being pulled by that full moon, it can be nice to have our feet a little farther apart. Heels under your sitting bones is another option. Wherever you find your feet, check to see that they're pointing forward. Sometimes we have a habit of one rolling a little out. So just checking, aiming our feet pointing forward. You might explore a moment of lifting your toes. This activates the arches of your feet, wakes up the muscles of your legs, and then let your toes lower back down. For just a moment, keep your legs as engaged as we found them in our seated staff pose. So your kneecaps are lifting, your quadriceps are nice and strong here. Engage, 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 squeeze. While you're doing that, let your heart lift and your shoulders relax. Very nice. All right, and then let that go. Step your feet nice and wide apart. With your feet wide apart, here we'll aim to have our feet parallel to the short edges of the yoga mat. And then once you arrive, you might do just a little ninja side to side. A little bend of one knee and then the other, starting to feel that waking up maybe in your inner thighs. Just notice what you're noticing. You're navigating the vehicle of your body. Good. And then back at center. Your feet are parallel to the edges. Hands might be onto your hips. Lifting up through your heart, through your chest. We'll take 3 full breaths here. Checking the balance of the weight between the inner and the outer edges of your feet. Good. Very nice. Lifting the top of the, we'll call it the toe end of your foot. So you're on your heel. We're going to turn our whole right leg out on our heel. So as you turn your whole right leg out, your toes will now be pointing out to the right. Your left foot can still stay parallel with the short edge of your mat. So again, the camera may have mirrored or switched this. So here with your right leg turning out, lift all the way up through your spine and then begin to slowly bend your right knee. We'll aim to have it stop when it is over our right ankle. Good. And then go ahead and straighten again. We'll do that 2 more times. We want to make sure that we're aiming it as much for the second and third toe as possible. If you watch and its trajectory is a little bit more out to the outside of your left big or your right big toe, then start again, bringing it back in, drawing it open a little bit farther. Your hip will tell you why. And next week's class, again, we'll touch on hips. So straightening again, and then bending your knee. So when our knee tracks in, it's just that little awareness of, oh, I'm going to do some hip stretches. Good. And now go ahead and straighten your right leg. Hands are on your hips. Turn to face towards the long side of your mat. Your right toes are still turned out. Inhale, lift your heart. And now we'll do a little teapot, dipping your right elbow down towards the floor. Leaning over as far as feels right for you. And then let's come all the way up. Inhale. Now really press into your right big toe. Let that be a nice grounding cord. Do that once again. Exhale, tipping over, right elbow pointing down towards that right leg. Good. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Very nice. Turn your right leg back in. Feet are parallel with the edges of your mat. A little ninja again here. Nice cleansing breath. Excellent. Left leg turning out. So again, you might choose to exfoliate your heels on your yoga mat. Lift your foot, turning on your heel, rotate all the way out to the left. Now right toes, I can see mine snuck out a little bit. So having that foot at least parallel with the short end of the mat. Good. And you'll feel how that affects into your hip. Good. All right. Nice and tall here. Lift it up through your heart, through your chest. And now you'll bend your left knee, tracking it wide, aiming for that second or third toe, feeling an awareness through perhaps your inner left thigh, and then straightening through your leg again. So creating the muscle memory, creating our atomic habits, straightening through your leg. We'll go ahead and bend that knee again. Again, tracking it nice and open. And then straighten through your leg. Excellent. Keeping your left leg turned out, hands onto your hips. If your body turned at all, if your chest, your upper body turned at all towards the left, bring it back towards center. Hands stay on your hips. Checking to see, you want your knee to feel comfortable. It's rolling open. And then you'll exhale, dipping your left elbow down towards the floor. Good. Inhale as you come up. Remember, send that grounding cord. Press your awareness through your left big toe. Exhale. Teapot. Good. Inhale. And again, exhale. Excellent. And inhale. Turn your feet parallel to the edges of your mat again. A little ninja again here. Excellent. Now, optional here, for some of you, it's in your practice to take a wide-legged forward fold. If that is part of your practice, you might, from here, give a little bend of both of your knees, beginning to hinge forward, and bring your hands down to the floor. If the floor seems like as far away as India, go ahead and bring in a chair. Let your hands rest onto the chair or onto your couch or your yoga blocks. So again, lots of options. If you are in that wide-legged forward fold, you might explore a little of your ninja action again here. For some of you, it may be that you're walking your hands farther back between your feet, releasing your head towards the earth. Again, lots of variations. We meet our body right where it is in this moment, in this time, in this season. Good. And we'll slowly come back out. So if you've lowered your hands to the floor, engage through your core, maybe a little bend of your knees, you can bring your hands to your legs or your hips, and then inhale, slowly, mindfully coming all the way up, and exhale. Good. Now you could either hop or step your feet back together. You might give a little hop and find yourself once again in mountain pose. Good. So as we began our class, so shall we close our class. Some of you started again before class time and had a few minutes in legs up the wall. So legs up the wall or legs up the chair variation is a wonderful calming posture for as we come out of hibernation and start taking all of our spring walks. When the sun comes out and we jump right on up and run outside to take an extra long walk. So allowing this not only to relieve your legs, but also to help to relax and balance your low back and very much calm your nervous system. So again, for some of you, it may be that you have scooted right on up to a wall and your legs could be up the length of the wall, or a wonderful variation of the pose, legs up the chair. Good. So you would, just as we do in Shavasana, take a moment to find any little adjustments so that you could be even 5 to 10% more comfortable. Taking the time to tend to yourself, this divine vessel of your body, this constant companion, situating your shoulder blades, your low back, your clothes, your props. Hands might rest onto the floor or on your belly. And perhaps to really drop in a full release could include an open mouth sigh, a nice releasing exhale. And here there's nothing more to do. Just allow yourself these quiet moments and this pose to integrate, to release, to relax.
if time allows, you might choose to remain here in your legs up the wall or legs up the chair. When it is time to begin to shift, you might bring your awareness first back to your breath. And then starting a little movement of your fingers and toes. Perhaps closing your practice still in your reclined position by bringing your hands together, perhaps letting your hands rest either over your heart or over your forehead, your third eye center. Awake, aware, relaxed. Every cell of your body happy, healthy, and whole. Again, if you would like to stay in the pose, by all means. I thank you so much for your practice. Peace be with you, and namaste.